Hello, I'm Bobby Saffo, AARP, Louisiana Volunteer State President. If we remember last winter, we did have an unusual freeze. Who knows what our winter season will bring us this year, so it's best to be prepared for anything. Today, I'm speaking with Karen McCoy, the North Louisiana Executive Director for the American Red Cross, and we'll be discussing cold weather preparedness. Karen, thank you so much for taking the time to have this conversation and help us get this important information to our members.
Thank you so much, Bobby. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about cold weather preparedness, especially based off what happened last year.
Exactly. So thinking back to last year, to last February, when we experienced such an unusually cold week with frozen pipes and downed trees and power outages, among other things, what are some lessons that we learned for our area from that unusual event?
Well, we learned a lot from that, actually. Louisiana is no stranger to disaster. I mean, we're used to hurricanes, we're used to tornadoes, we're used to flooding. Cold weather's not one we're typically used to. And so we learned a lot. One thing that I want everybody to take to heart is when you hear these severe weather warnings, take them seriously. Don't think that, oh, that's just not going to happen, or, oh, they got it wrong that time. Let's take them seriously. And then the second thing we definitely want to do is to prepare. That's one of our big mottos with the Red Cross is preparation for these events. And so, there's several ways that you can prepare. And I know behind me, I have actually an emergency preparedness kit that the Red Cross has. We have a list of things that you can put in your own kit and prepare yourself and have at home for times like these. And that's things just such as flashlights, batteries, a way to charge your phone with a battery operated device, water, food, stuff of that nature. So a big thing is to be prepared and to take these weather warnings seriously.
Absolutely. Sometimes we get a little complacent with the weather warnings. We think that, the news media makes a big deal out of something and then nothing happens. And then,
Right.
The next time is, we expected nothing to happen and then something big does happen. And AARP has similar preparedness kits that from time to time, and, our I guess, response is more noticeable after a hurricane or a flood, but, important papers and, some of the little things that we don't often think about, and sometimes packing a go bag, to have it ready. So when it's cold out, many of us use space heaters and other things to keep warm. And what do you think we should do to make sure we're being safe and that we don't cause a fire?
Well, that's very, very important, especially when using space heaters. The potential for fire is obviously increased. And what people may not realize is the number one disaster that we respond to are single family fires. And the uptick is dramatic during the winter months because people are using stuff such as space heaters and alternate ways of heating their home. So if you are using a space heater, keep it away from, blankets or anything, at least 3 feet away from, whether it's curtains, blankets, your bed. Also, don't cover up the cord. Don't put a rug on top of it. Don't put a blanket on top of the cord. Plug it directly into the wall. Don't plug it into a power strip. And when you're done using it and you're going to bed or you're heading out of your house, unplug it from the wall before you leave. So just being very diligent with the space heaters and doing those few things can really help prevent the risk of starting a fire.
People don't often think about it, but extension cords, and it's one of the things that we don't focus on that much. But we had a case several years ago where a large extension cord, a long extension cord, 100 feet plus, was used to power a piece of electrical equipment, and it was rolled up under a bed.
Cool.
I'm not an expert in this matter, but apparently having it coiled up like that caused an issue where it ignited the bed and burned down the house. So, and you don't hear much about safe handling of extension cords. They're very good in some circumstances, but you need to use the right cord for the right purpose and
That's right.
and don't abuse it.
Yeah.
So, and occasionally we see that power goes out, and it looks like it might be for no apparent reason. So, what should we do if the power goes out during the winter months?
Well, that's what these kits that we're talking about is very important, that if the power goes out, that you have a kit available. The number one thing we need is food and water. So non-perishable food and water. So that's part of your kit items, is that you have those non-perishable food. You're going to need the old school can opener, not the electric one, because we're not going to have power. So be sure you have the old school can opener to open it. Again, flashlights, batteries, stuff of that nature that you would have in your kit in order to be able to function without electricity. Again, we all use our cell phones now. And if we can't plug it in a wall to charge it, you better have a battery operated charger for your phone, or that stops all of our worlds at this point. So have that preparedness kit available.
So important, when a disaster strikes, if we're not prepared, it's too late to get prepared.
Yep.
So these are the kinds of things that we ought to have ready to go in a moment's notice if we've got to go.
That's right.
So another thing, we know that people use generators when the power goes out.
Yeah.
And we also know that people get sick. They could end up in the emergency room. And they may even die when those generators are used inappropriately. So when it comes to generator safety, what are some generator safety considerations that we should remember?
Make sure that you have that generator on a dry surface. Preferably, we'd like some type of open canopy over it with a tarp, like on poles. Make sure you're not touching that generator with wet hands. When you're going to refuel that generator, make sure it's turned off and it's cooled down, because if you get some of that gasoline on some of those hot engine parts, it could ignite a fire. Plug the appliances directly into the generator. A lot of people want to try to run their whole house off of that generator and then plug it into the house wiring, plugging into appliances, and then that ignites, can cause a fire. So those are a few of the things that you can do to help prevent injuries or cause fires and stuff of that nature with the generators.
Yeah, for generators, you don't need to be an engineer, but you ought to certainly take some simple steps, and those are great reminders for people, if they're going to be using generators. And some of these generators come self-contained if they're a whole house, but not every generator is a whole house generator. And
right.
I have a portable, and just like you said, I have a tent over mine to protect it from the rain, and I have it several feet away from the house so that the exhaust doesn't make its way into the house. Plus, I have a carbon monoxide detector just in the event that something like that would happen. And, it'll wake me up before I can't wake up, and I can go outside and shut the thing down if I have to.
Yep.
So talking about a possible winter storm. In our homes, sometimes repairs may be necessary if pipes freeze. And when those pipes thaw out, the home might be flooded. So what are some of the things that we should consider to avoid costly repairs, or to find help in the event that for some reason that damage couldn't be avoided?
Right. Well, we definitely want to prevent it from happening if at all possible. And so, small things can help with that. That's, opening your cabinet doors in your kitchen that have plumbing, or in your bathroom, so that they can have the heat circulating through there. If you have any type of piping or plumbing in your garage, keep your garage door shut. Always keep your heat on at a certain temperature day and night. If you have to go out of town, don't completely turn your heat off. Keep it on at a minimum at 55 degrees. And the one thing we've all heard is you can let your faucets drip, especially if there's exposed pipes there. Just a small drip of cold water can help prevent it from freezing. So those are just awesome things that you could put in place to help try to prevent those pipes from bursting.
I think what you mentioned in just simple steps that people can take and it's commonsensical type stuff. We don't need an engineer or a plumber to make these small changes. And in the end, it could end up saving us a lot of money and heartache and headache.
Yeah.
So where can people find resources or more information about cold weather preparedness? And I'm thinking Red Cross or maybe some other organizations that can help folks with cold weather preparedness.
Definitely, we have a lot of information on our website. So that's redcross.org, redcross.org. You can click on that link and go to it, and we'll have all the items that you should put in an emergency kit. We're going to have all the cold weather preparedness activities that you can do. So definitely our resource is to go to our website and review all of those materials, especially with the upcoming cold weather. If you find yourself in a situation where you've had some major disaster occur or you need help, you can actually dial 211 from a Louisiana phone, and they have a list of resources. In other words, a bunch of different groups of nonprofits and partnerships that all help in different capacities. So that's another option if you end up having some disaster related damage.
We will put that information on the screen for people to refer to, redcross.org and 211 in the event that,
there's
they miss it during the presentation, and then they can go back and refer to those. So let me, we're winding down here. I think we tried to get several high points that are helpful to people, and you've been a great resource and provided some good information. And so in closing and wrapping up, any final comments before we conclude?
Not that I can think of right now. I just really appreciate you guys allowing us to come on. I think this is vitally important. After the events of last February, doesn't happen to everybody else. It can happen right here to us. And so it's something that we need to take seriously. So thank you for having me on.
Oh, it's our pleasure, and we're happy to pick your brain and get the information that we need to get out to our members. And while we don't always often encounter intense cold weather, the key is preparation, and I think that's what we've talked about throughout our conversation here. So on behalf of AARP Louisiana and our members across the state, we certainly thank you for taking the time to talk with me ahead of the winter season. And it's appropriate now that we have a little breathing room to get prepared, and for offering these tips and resources on cold weather preparedness. To our viewers, on behalf of AARP Louisiana and the American Red Cross, thank you for joining us. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay prepared.
Thanks.
Great job.
Yay.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, perfect. One thing for me in post that I want to add is that your website, just redcross.org, or is there a special one for Louisiana?
www.redcross.org, because I think that's the one that has the majority of the information. And I could tell you what to click on, but I couldn't think of it while we were talking. Because there's a specific thing, go under the Get Help tab. And then under the Get Help tab is how to prepare for emergencies. And that's where it's listed.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add some cool graphic to that to guide people. And you mentioned 211.
Yeah, 211 is a resource. And honestly, it's not just cold weather. If you have a home fire, if you have, any type of disaster, and even outside of that, they have a list of resources. They can connect with us. They connect with Catholic charities. They connect with just a group of people, nonprofits, depending on what their issue is.
Okay. Do you think it's appropriate to kind of phrase that as like dial 211 for additional help, or is it meant for more urgent situations?
It's usually more urgent situations. Okay. Yeah, we don't want them to call 211 to find out how to prepare for cold weather.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't even know.
I'll make sure to put that, like, in an urgent situation, you can call.
Well, yeah. Or if you've had disaster related damage or something.
Oh, okay.
And they use 211 for
lots
COVID.
of things, right? Yes.
It's a variety. And honestly, if they have a disaster-related damage, they can call 1-800-RED Cross too. But 211 encompasses a variety of organizations to help respond to stuff. I'm not the best way to put that. You just don't want to call them for, oh, how do I handle cold weather? That's not what they're there for.
Yeah. Okay. I may check and see, like, like ask my comms director what she thinks. Like, do we want to guide people with a title or just let what you said lead it? So, okay.
Yeah, don't run a trailer on the 211.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know that.
They caught it. If they didn't, well, that's all right.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Right. Okay. So maybe it doesn't deserve a title in what you say.
Right. I think that's probably the safe bet.
That's where I'm leaning now too.
Yeah.
So, but I'll definitely get the website across there and kind of add click get help or something. So, okay. No, this was great. It was smooth. Y'all made my job easy.
Yay. Thank you.
Awesome.
So did y'all.
Well, thank you. If there's nothing else, and I'll try to get you a YouTube link. We're probably going to premiere this at some point, maybe even this month or before the month is over. So
Okay.
I'll make sure to try to remember to share a link with you. But if you have any thoughts following up, don't hesitate to reach out.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And we are done with plenty of time for your 150.
I know. I thought I saw an hour.
Yes.
Y'all are good.
Safety. Bobby, yeah.
Nice to meet you. Good luck. And thanks, Jessica. Let me know.
Thank you both.
Yeah, let me know.
Nice to meet you. Hopefully we run into you again, Miss McCoy.
Yeah, for sure. If y'all ever need anything, let me know.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll do
Thank you all so much.
Come on, folks.
Thanks.
Have a good day.
Bye.